Thank you so much for being with us here on the second edition of the Citizen Assembly. In just a few moments, we're going to be speaking to somebody who went through pain and agony that was absolutely unnecessary. We'll be getting her story shortly, but for now, I'd like to paint the context of why we're here today. So allow me a few minutes to set the tone. The plight of Kenyan youth remains uncertain. The wave of the deaths of dozens of young people as law enforcement officers crack down on protests countrywide have left the citizen broken and divided. Extrajudicial executions continue unabated. Shooting of unarmed young peaceful protesters is the new norm during youth-led protests. From deaths resulting from torture and police brutality on the streets to enforced disappearances and police abductions, the rule of law has been dealt a major blow by an arbitrarian and authoritarian regime that has managed to weaponize the police and officers from the Kenya Defense Forces against its own citizens, eroding any trust that locals had in the security agencies to maintain law and order. Whereas the right to picket remains enshrined in Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution, there are concerns over how security forces respond to demonstrations led by Gen Z and millennials. News about a section of the opposition politicians going to bed with the ruling coalition has sent mixed reactions in a country polarized along tribe, ethnicity, race, religion, and social class. As national and county leaders spend time on politics, the Kenyan youth feel largely ignored and undermined on issues public interest and legislation. The Law Society of Kenya President Faith Odhiambo has, on the other hand, waged a steadfast justice quest for the victims of police brutality. LSK, in conjunction with Amnesty International, Independent Medical Legal Unit, Defenders Coalition, Kenya National Commission on Human Rights, International Commission of Jurists, Haki Africa, and other human rights defenders have consistently been the first responders to citizens in distress. The youthful activists gradually feel accepted and accommodated by such groups and accommodations and organizations. Now, a number of the young people who keep demonstrating every Tuesday and Thursday have been captured by both local and international media, crying out for a listening ear. Most of the protesters vent their anger and frustration over a regime that has remained tone deaf. Yet, the protesters need a listening and empathetic platform with ability to convert their frustrations encapsulated in their non-negotiables to pragmatic and implementable solutions. The first steps of finding solutions must be directly derived from direct engagement with the relevant parties across the country. The need to seek justice for all victims remains paramount, and the first step towards peace is first justice for all victims and affected persons. And to realize any meaningful change, the youth must be given a platform to talk and be allowed to vent and be listened to. Now, Citizen Assembly seeks to act as a bridge towards a better, safe, and peaceful Kenya. So welcome to this edition. I'm Janet Mbugua, and today we convene amidst profound sorrow and righteous anger as our city streets, once symbols of democracy, have turned into battlegrounds where many protesters have been met with hostility and even death. Our government has failed us, resorting to political maneuvers instead of genuine leadership, with inept ministers leaving our nation adrift. Yet, we refuse to be silenced. We're here to uphold the dream of a just society through civic education, public participation in policy making, and holding our leaders accountable. We also pledge to report and remember those who are missing, abducted, or injured. Our unity, voices, and actions will reclaim our nation. And today we will hear from survivors, human rights defenders, citizen journalists, and more. We encourage you to continue to share this conversation online and engage with us. And this can be across the Citizen Assembly platforms, on YouTube and other platforms. So make sure you're also using the hashtag Citizen Assembly and continue to share your own thoughts on all the happenings unfolding in our country. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we're joined by somebody who had to see firsthand loss and death. This is Mama Rex, and we're going to have a short conversation with her just to walk us through what it really means when we say that we need fairness and justice on our streets. Mama Rex, asante sana kwa kuwa nasi. Asante. Tuanze na kukuuliza, tuelezee